Hi guys, so welcome back to Sisterhood Spectrum. On this episode we have an amazing guest with us. She was with us in the other episode. She gave us a bit of advice in regards to friendship, and we're back with her again. So today we're going to be talking about relationships.
Yes, we're still on relationships actually.
Yeah, exactly.
But this time round, we are talking about
relationships and the dynamics of dating, whether you're single, in a relationship, or you're married. And today I'm your host, Mati.
And I am, as always, Kamuche and Mati, the Giriama babe. Welcome.
And our amazing guest today is
Riziki Ahmed.
Riziki is a relationship expert and a counselor, right?
Yeah, clinical psychologist.
Sasa kama uko na shida za ndoa, you have her.
She's the right person to come to.
Exactly.
Hata kama si ndoa, hata kama you have a phobia of dating or you have a phobia of getting married, she's the right person to talk to.
Kama mimi nina hiyo phobia ya kuolewa.
Karibuni.
Yaani kisikia kuolewa tunasema
Watakukimbia the other way around.
Riziki, in this relationship thing, where are you? Are you searching?
You want to be
Are you dating?
Okay, I've been married for 5 years, since 2018 to now. Now we're going to our 6th year. And before marrying my husband, I dated him for 8 years.
Wow.
Yes. So we were still in campus, so that means we were still young. Even marriage was not even an option during that time. But during that time, it's when a lot of people were in a lot of relationships, there were a lot of dynamics and all that. And I'd seen a lot. So, you know, when you come from Costa and now you're coming to Nairobi, there's that, you see a lot of different guys. Before I dated him, I didn't date, but I saw the different relationships that they were in Nairobi. And they really scared me and shocked me. There was some of unaogopa kuolewa.
What are you telling me? You're telling me I should not date Nairobi?
I'm not telling you should not date. For me, let's say he was my safe space because he was from home. And I thought this is much more better than the guys I've seen outside there. So that's why I chose that option for myself.
For yourself.
Yes.
So for me, I will not say I'm searching, but I don't want to close the gap because so in short, I'm not married, but my love story has been a bit tricky, just more or less the same as how most of us have found ourselves in the situationships. You think you're in a relationship, then you realize, oh, kumbe I'm dating myself. You think you're in a relationship. You are in a relationship and then you realize, Allah, I'm not alone, we are like 3 of us. You know, these the situations that sometimes even put you off kabisa kabisa. For me, where I am now, I think a guy comes ananikatia and I'm like, what are you telling me? Like, nini is he like the space that I'm in now? I'm like, usikuje na hizo vibes da man. I don't even need the lines that sijui nikukatie sijui twende wapi. I wish there's a meme. There's a meme I saw, or I think it's a meme or this quote, one that says, I wish men would come with a trailer. You know, the trailer of a movie, like a trailer of a movie, like a trailer of something. Like,
and surely this is how I am.
Yes, like a trailer.
I think you've reached that age, according to me, is that you don't want lines za kuketiwa, katiwa za utoto. You want honest conversations.
Exactly.
And you want a man who comes to tell you, this is where I'm headed, and this, I want you in my life because we can head towards this certain direction together. That's what I think.
Yes. My status now is, of course, not married. Seeing someone? Yes, seeing someone. But bado, as long as I don't ring, who's going to go out in me? Why am I searching?
You're not searching, you're just asking them to put a ring on it.
You're literally asking them.
So Riziki, as we talk about this, the scenarios that we see in relationships, I think we'll just have to combine all of them. If you're searching, what are some of the things that we need to, especially in this day and age?
I think there's something she said that really stuck with me about the safe space or the safe place. Like when she met her husband, she felt he was her safe place. So I think it's very important that at times we realize that marriage is about that safe place. Somewhere I can be myself, somewhere I don't feel judged, somewhere I can share what I feel, somewhere I can say what I feel, like I don't have to walk on eggshells. Like I feel I'm safe, I can be myself in this space. So for me that is very key. So congratulations on that. So for me that was really key.
Lucky her, it worked for her.
Yeah, that was, I think it was something she could see from before, like she really needed that safe haven for herself.
Is it a sixth sense, the sixth sense that we're told as women we have and we should follow it, or?
Leave alone the sixth sense, it's about, you see what she said, that we come from the same place.
Okay.
So that coming from the same place at times makes the work less.
Okay.
Like if you're marrying from one culture to another culture, it means that that relationship needs to be worked on extra hard. It's not like going to be like any other relationship. It needs a lot of work, because it's two cultures coming together. So a lot of work has to go into that. So when I'm thinking about somebody like who do I want to date, or who do I want to get married to, who do I want to be a significant other with, for me I usually come up with have a list, like a hierarchy list, from the most important to the least important. So what is most important for me? If it is not ticking that box, then I don't even need to go further down, because that one just
already the first one is not
didn't
met.
tick, it didn't tick. So I know we can just be buddies, but we're not going anywhere. So what is it? So I always say the first four, like very important. Like for you, if these are not there, this relationship is not going anywhere. So first four tick, number 1, 2, whatever it is for you, depending on who you are, like what is so important for you, what is so key for you. So if the 4 tick, now we go to 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7, I always say something I can compromise. Maybe.
Yeah, because there's no one who's perfect.
Yes, there's no one perfect. Number 1, 4 is like, if they don't tick, kwaheri.
Let me ask a question.
Yes.
Because during our age, so most of the first four boxes, you'll find that they've written physical attributes,
financially stable, money.
Yes. So according to you, what should be the first 4 important attributes?
The first 4 important attributes are things that really, really matter to you. And that's why I didn't even bring in, it's not even about physical so much, because it could be, somebody can be very handsome and lack kindness or lack empathy. You know, so the first 4 for me, I think of, if you're spiritual, the spirituality aspect. Maybe a Muslim, maybe they are Christian. How do we negotiate that? If we feel it can't work, then you're like, hey, I'm a born again Christian, the other one is not. And I know that I will not marry somebody who is not born again. So I'm not going to start forcing them to become born again. I can say this is a very important value for me. If you're willing to be with me, then this circumstance has to change. Number 2 is maybe somebody who is empathetic, somebody who can feel me and feel my pain and be able to wear my shoe and feel me and be able to come through for me maybe when I really need them. So those are all things like we will have to have into considerations. Like what is it that I really need as a person, as Riziki, let's say. What are those first 4 that for me are so important? Maybe I want somebody who is family oriented, somebody who loves family. Or somebody who is also willing to have children. Because somebody else will tell you, I don't want to have children. So if I hear that and I'm like, me, I want to have 4 kids, generally that does not take.
And let me cut you short, because the dating scene as of now, I don't know how to put it, but I think looking at all those aspects, maybe you must be having the friendship must have gone on for a while. Where we are now, Rafiki, hata ukai sana 3 months, you realize that there's someone else on the other side. So at what time, how much time do I have, or what are the chances of me getting to know all these things that you're telling me about? Because in 3 months, alafu ni realize anaona mwingine, have I learned this guy enough? Do I give up and go, you know, ama does it mean that maybe ameenda tu kule kuola na raha lakini atarudi tu kwangu because maybe we feel like we can bond?
And follow up so that you can what do you think is the problem to the fact that most young people nowadays feel like I have to have more than one person with me to rely on or to date, because I can't rely on a single individual. Well, probably this person, some of them have been with you for years, but you feel like you have to have a backup plan.
So I believe if you feel you have to have a backup plan, that's not the right person. You definitely tell yourself that's not the right person, and you need to tell yourself this one, I'm just talking to, but it's not the right person. When you feel this is the person, you will not feel you have to have a backup plan. You will realize this is the person, this is the person I want to be with. And when you're asking, how do I get to know this person? I believe any time you're going for a date, it's about getting to know the other person very well. Like a date should be somewhere where you're sharing, you're getting to know the person, and you're also learning this person from the way you see them behaving when they are with you, how they relate with other people. It's like you're observing this person the whole time. You're listening to them. And when I say listening, like you listen to everything they say, so that you get I always say listen to the unsaid. I don't know if that makes sense. Like you listen even to what they are not saying. Like you can actually listen.
Observe also.
You're observing and you're listening. So you're getting to know this person in a very keen way. So after some time, you start realizing that this person either ticks your boxes or they don't tick. And if somebody is going to have another relationship apart from the one you're having, then that's not somebody you can trust. So are you going to marry somebody that you are very sure you will not be able to trust? So what kind of a marriage are you going to have? So if somebody is not trustworthy from the word go, then you just tell yourself, this person is not for me. They cannot be trusted, and I'm not going to get into a relationship where we are going to start running after women and fighting and everything. No, tell yourself, always say what you see is what you get.
Okay.
What you see
I mean, you can't prepare for
what you see
I
is
was
what
preparing to mold.
you see. At times we keep saying we'll mold people. And that is, I think, one of the greatest mistakes we make. Like, we are seeing this person has very big problems. Then you set on yourself to mold them. That I'm going to marry them, then I'm going to mold them, then I'm going to change them, I'm going to make them. Are you willing to live with what you see this person having? If you're willing, that marriage can work. Like, I know I'm marrying this person, I know this person does this, I know this person is like this, and I am willing to accommodate that. Because I'm coming in with a very clear mind that I am willing to accommodate that, so it is not going to be a problem for me. But don't come in with the notion that I'm going to mold this person into what I want them to be. That one is not a very good way of looking at a relationship.
Okay. So at that point, Riziki, then I'm confused. If I don't like a habit from that person, do I tell them, or I shouldn't even tell them?
You can share, like for me, you can say for me, like you're talking about yourself. I've always wanted a family-oriented person who comes home and we have dinner together. That for me is very important. So you're sharing what your values are to them. So let them get that, okay, this lady, for her, this is important. I think one thing we never get to pass across is what is important for us. We try to accommodate so much. We are always like, I really want this person, so I'm willing to override everything to get this person. Then when you get to be the wife, now you're busy saying, Unajua, I want you to come home at 9. We must have dinner together. And he never saw that.
Yes. So now we need to discuss that. So for me, what I learned, I think these are lessons passed to me down from my grandmother. She told me, if you cannot tolerate a person's habits, then that's not the right guy.
That's not the right guy, because this is the person that you're planning to live with.
Yes,
the lifetime
so
partner.
sometimes, yes, you in your head, if you start thinking that I will mold them, then you're already on, like she said, you're already on the wrong path. So you have to think, can I live with these habits? And if this guy loves you to a certain point, maybe she'll say, maybe because she communicated this, I can try and drop this point. Because for me, it's the same thing. I was raised in a family where my father, after work, he comes
already
back
in the
home.
house.
Yes, by the time I'm realizing that. But my husband is a bit different. It's a bit dynamic. So because he grew up in a different situation.
Exactly.
So,
the same example I was giving.
There's those facts. But then we sit and discuss and come to a compromise in the middle and say, okay, this is the compromise that we come into. And we realize that we come from two different families. Yes, there are some expectations that I will expect you, but I have to realize that this is not the reality that we are living in.
And I like what she has brought out about learning where this person grew up and how they were socialized, because that comes to play into marriage. At times we have to have a lot of awareness, like how was my parents' marriage, what did I like about it, what did I not like about it,
and how was my partner's parents'
and how was
marriage,
yes, and what did they like, what didn't they like, so that I do not unconsciously bring in my parents' marriage into this one. Like we have to have a lot of self-awareness, and what are we coming in, what are we bringing, what don't I want to bring, and reminding yourself the whole time, this is not my parents' marriage. This is different. This is
this is my marriage. This is a different day and age. This is a whole totally different
ball game. Totally.
So what I understand is that if you're not careful, you bring trauma that you had in your family to your marriage.
Very, very, very common. It happens a lot. Like we bring in a lot from our homes into our marriages. So we must learn, what don't I want to bring? What is it I am not going to carry? And then at times we expect our husbands to be our fathers. Think like our fathers, reason like our fathers. My father used to reason this way. My father would have done it this way. You know. So at times we make somebody start thinking, then why the hell didn't you marry your father?
I'm looking at this situation. I'm like, I thought, I don't know how it's vice versa, because even men come into relationships and they think that you will behave like their mother.
Yes.
While ideally I thought it should be, as a woman, I should look at my mom and go into marriage. Okay, sort of like my mom.
You see, maybe your mom was also not the right example. Maybe maybe your mom was going through abuse. So are you also going to go through abuse because your mom was going through abuse?
But now how do you know, how do you disassociate yourself from that? Because that's the only environment
you've grown into.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying, like we must create a lot of self-awareness. Like this is what I have seen and I'm not going to take that. Like you yourself, you keep reminding yourself, this is not what I will take.
There's something you spoke about, learning, getting time to learn or find out how the other marriage was, like your husband's marriage or your boyfriend's husband's
family. The family he grew up in.
The family he grew up, how they were. But how do you find out? Do you ask the guy to tell you, or do you ask the woman to tell you? Or how do you find out? Because I'm looking at it from the point of, if you ask, let's say this man, how your parents' marriage is or was, are they likely to tell you the truth? Or maybe, I don't know, how do you, like you said, you need to find out, how then do you find out, or how then do you try to get to know how the marriage was?
You see, at times when we are dating, people do share a lot of information.
I don't know.
But, like I said, because we are not listening, it passes.
We
are not listening.
When you're telling us those things, I'm like, okay, how much are you giving me after?
And that is why we have this premarital counseling, so that we can actually understand where we are coming from. So you can actually, he can say, for me, I grew up in a single parent home. So from there now we know the dynamics are totally different. So he has to have a lot of self-awareness. What is he carrying with him from that home? And you also, what am I carrying with from my own home? So being able to relay what is important, what makes you tick, what makes you happy. This person must understand you in that wholesome way. At times I feel like we want to compromise so much, because we really want this marriage so much, like we are willing to say sour.
In society we have this issue whereby if a woman finds out that a man comes from a single family, because most men who come from single family are very protective of their mothers. Yes. So for me, I found it impressive, because I told myself he's protective of his mother, he'll be protective of me.
Exactly.
But in this day and age in society, most of the time we'll say, he's a mama's boy, I don't want to get married to a mama's boy. So how do you advise such women, and how do they come to that compromise for them and realize that being raised by a single mother doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot rely on this person?
True, and I believe, like for me, I usually look at a man and how does he treat the women folk in his family. If this person you see is rude to his mother, he's not like being a good son to his own mother, so how do you expect him to be a good husband to you? Because the way he relates with the women in his family is the way he's going to relate with you. Somebody has already is showing a very nice relationship with the mom, you don't have to fight that. Like, you're not his mom, you're the wife, you're totally different. So I think the mama's boy thing at times is over-exaggerated. And as women, we must look at how does this person behave and treat the women in his life. If he's not treating them well, then he will not treat you well. Don't cheat yourself.
Finances, especially during this time of COVID, a lot of couples broke up because of finances, and because we know in the society that we are growing in is a bit different from the society our parents or our grandparents growing. In our society, there's that aspect whereby sometimes it has to be 50-50 in a household. So and when I talk about finances, a lot of marriages broke up because, for example, a woman lost her job and then the man couldn't handle it, or probably the man lost the job in the house and the woman couldn't handle it, so they ended up breaking up marriages. How do they deal with that, or how do they strike a balance when it comes to such situations as a couple?
Okay, finance issue is very sensitive. Anytime you're discussing finance in a household, it brings in a lot of confrontation, a lot of issues. So one, it's our culture. Let's say me coming from an Islamic background. As a Muslim, we know that for us, the man is responsible for all the bills. So there is no discussion. Like, he won't be telling me, let him shahara, ama pay 50-50. No. So,
I don't want to pay any bills.
So we know that there he is responsible for the bill. So there's no like and if I want, I can help, but it is me wanting. Like, it's not going to be forced. It's me saying, I will help, I will do this. It's me wanting to do it. So at times you also look at that culture. Then if you're in a culture of 50-50, how do we deal with it when this one person loses the job?
So now it becomes a whole 100% of you.
So we must have had that discussion.
Okay.
That, okay, if either one of us lost our jobs, how would we deal with this? So we must be very clear on, it's a 50-50, but if one loses the job, one takes over the role. If it ever comes to be, I'm the one taking over the role, I take it graciously.
My question is, when do you have this discussion? Do you have it after you're married, or almost when you're getting married, or while you're dating?
I think these are discussions we should have early, because we need to understand how does each one of us view finance. Like, what does money mean to me? How do I treat money? How do I behave when I have money? And who are the people that I am taking care of financially even before we get married? No surprises, because what happens, we don't talk. Then after we're married, you start saying, you know, my mom, she takes medicines, I usually buy her for 20K every month. So this is coming in as a surprise. This person didn't know that. Or your husband is telling you, you know, my sister's daughter, I'm the one who pays the fees. So you're like, how come I didn't know that before we got married? So it's very important to be very clear from the word go. These are my obligations, these are my finances, and this is how it is going to be. So if I'm going to be chipping in this much and you're putting in this much, this is how it goes. And then at that point, I always feel it is important to divide the roles. Like, let's have roles. If he's the one paying the rent, he's the one paying the rent. I don't have to get involved with that rent issue. If I'm the one buying the food, like, we know our roles, we each play our roles. And we don't have to be reminded, like, you know, you're supposed to be doing this. No, everybody knows their roles. So these are discussions that we must have. As uncomfortable as they are, they must be had before people get married.
Riziki,
yes,
that is so insightful. But you realize that a relationship is just too wide. We haven't even done quarter. We haven't even done half. We just still way beyond, way far. So,
and we haven't talked about Kamuche asking people to put a ring on her feet.
No, this is on behalf of the many ladies who are out there in my situation. By the way, yes, I think that is where we will end it for today, for this episode. But next week, it's a continuation. Of course, we will continue, because relationship is what runs. They say, what runs the world?
The world.
It's not money. I think it's just relationship and love. So, see you next time. My name is Kamuche Wamenza, the Giriam Abe.
And I'm Machirua, but I'm not Giriam, I'm Campbell. And
our lovely marriage and relationship counselor. Whoa, we love her. Unasikia hapa anakwambia tutafute letu ni awareness. Umesema ni awareness.
And you should be listening, because she's talking very calmly and very
Anasema you even listen. Me no listening is just ukiongea na kusikia. Anasema no, listen then spoken. Which is
Amewambia you should be listening instead of just being there, because something might pass you by and you are supposed to listen. And some of the things she's been saying, characteristics you can pick before you even get yourself into that marriage.
But anyways or anyhow, Riziki Ahmed, she is. So next time we are back with her and more hot tea serving here.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Bye.